Now, from the CBS 4 studios, the best high school coverage from all over the Rio Grande Valley. It's time for Sunday Sports Extra.
Hello and welcome to Sunday Sports Extra. I'm CBS 4 Sports Director Clay Williams. It is week 8 down and only 3 weeks to go in the regular season. Joining me as always for Sunday Sports Extra, it is CBS 4 Sports Reporter Joe Bowling and our special guest this week, Dennis Silva of The Monitor. Thanks so much for joining us, Dennis.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, let's talk about, first off, a couple of undefeated teams that went down this past Friday. 2 of them at the same time in the same district. Let's start with what happened when San Benito hosted Brownsville Veterans. The Greyhounds trailed 14-7 after a quarter. Carlos Garza with a 67-yard touchdown run, but then back came J.R. Gaitan, led the way for his team, 3 touchdown runs. That was the shortest one of the bunch right there. He had a touchdown runs of 41, 67, and 66 yards. He also threw a touchdown pass for his team's initial score. And Brownsville Veterans, who had been undefeated going into this game, comes up short against San Benito. Final score in this one, 40-21. There goes the quarterback, and here he goes talking after the game.
Yes, sir. All my receivers blocked, so I get the hole. My line did a good job blocking. Maybe opened the holes up and took it to the house.
Yeah. And what about your defense in the second half?
Oh, our defense stepped it up second half. They made plays for us so we can make points on offense. They did a good job.
That wasn't the only undefeated team. As we said, Los Fresnos went into their game at Bogus Stadium undefeated, taking on the Cardinals. And then this Rene Ortega, Pete Perez touchdown put the Falcons up 18-17. But after that, it was all Harlingen and all defense. The Cardinals held Los Fresnos to a pair of punts and 2 turnovers on their final 4 drives. And the Cardinals go on to win this one 25-18 as the final.
Man, dude, it's amazing, dude. Like, I'm just glad our team came together and, you know, we finally put out what we can do, man. And I just hope our team carries out to the next game with this.
We fought hard. And the defense, we executed. We made some turnovers. Offense, shout out to the offense. You know, those points wouldn't have been up there if it wasn't for them.
Our thanks to Harlingen Cardinal football official site for those interviews. Let's check out the 6A standings, I should say. Still can't get used to that 5A, 6A thing. It's been a year and a half since the realignment, and I still can't do it. Here we go. It's a 4-way tie for first. Brownsville Veterans, Los Fresnos, San Benito, and Harlingen, with Harlingen South bubbling up, and they're taking on Hannah. We'll talk about that one in just a second. But this weekend, we've got Harlingen at Brownsville Veterans. But first off, of the undefeated teams that lost in this district, Dennis, which one was the biggest surprise to you?
I don't know if you could say anyone was a particular surprise just because that district is just so tough from top to bottom. You mentioned a 4-way tie right now. That speaks to just how well San Benito, Harlingen, Los Fresnos, Brownsville Vets, 2 of them were undefeated, just how well they played. I guess if I had to pick one, San Benito beating Brownsville Vets was a little bit surprising, just because Vets have played so well. But J.R. Gaitan is just such a special talent that when you have a playmaker like that, you're giving yourself a chance to win every night.
What did you think, Joe, about the 2 undefeateds going down?
Well, I think Brownsville Veterans was a little swayed there because, again, Marcus Castillo, folks, was on crutches on Saturday before that football game, so I know he wasn't 100%. It was still a big win for San Benito. The other side, Harlingen steps up to beat Los Fresnos. Same quarterback, as everyone's complaining about this quarterback situation, but hey, they figured out how to win. So that was my surprise, that Harlingen took care of business without making changes. They just stepped up and won.
All right, 3 weeks to go. Who's your favorite to win this district now, Dennis?
I'm gonna go with Brownsville Vets. I like their size. I think if the quarterback can get healthy, he's one of the top playmakers in the entire valley. I like what Brownsville Vets can
How about you, Joe? And it could end up a tie.
I'm still with Brownsville Vets. I still believe that. I think if Castillo gets healthy, that's why. San Benito's made it through the juggernaut. They're the first ones through,
yes.
2-1. But last year they did that too, and then they got beat, and they got beat. In games they weren't supposed to lose. So I'm not going to ride their wagon, but I am going to go with Brownsville Veterans.
All right, 2 for Brownsville Veterans. I think San Benito's got the edge here, and it's like Joe says, they've already run the gauntlet. I think the Greyhounds perhaps have the edge going into these next 3 games. They've got a couple of tough ones left, but they will be favored probably in all 3 of those games. But let's go ahead and make our pick for the game that is coming up this week. We talked about it, Brownsville Veterans, Harlingen. It will be at Sam Stadium. It will be Thursday night. This is a huge game if you want to get that gold ball. Dennis, who have you got winning between the Chargers and the Cardinals?
I like the Chargers.
All right,
especially with the healthy Castillo.
All right, if Marky Castillo is healthy and the Brownsville Veterans will have an edge there, what do you think, Joe?
There's the statement. If Castillo's healthy, Brownsville Veterans is the better team, folks, and they're going to win that game. If not, well, who knows?
Well, if not, I'm going with Harlingen anyway because I just love that Cardinals defense and what they did this past week against one of the top offenses in the entire Rio Grande Valley against Los Fresnos was very impressive to me, coming up with the interceptions and causing those turnovers. I'm going with the Cardinals. Now, last night what we had was Hannah taking on Lopez in an all-Brownsville matchup at Sam Stadium, and this one all about pretty much Andy Lopez. Look at the gunner for the Golden Eagles getting that one to go right there. That's a huge pass and a huge touchdown run for the Golden Eagles. Now Lopez would come back with a touchdown pass of their own, but after that it was all about Andy Lopez with 2 touchdown passes to Joe Cavazos in the first half, ran for another. The Golden Eagles took a late lead and they hold on to defeat the Lobos 31-21.
I think everybody in the Valley knows about this district. It's probably the toughest one around. So, whenever you can pick up a win here, it's big. It really is. So I'm happy for these kids, and I'm happy that we're winning right now, and we're just game plan and get ready for next week.
So he said it, it's the toughest district around. That's what Renee Medrano said. And if any of these top 4 teams slip, then the winner of this Hannah and Harlingen South game next week at Harlingen South on Friday could be the one to step in. Who have you got winning that game, Dennis? Hannah at Harlingen South on Friday.
I like South. They're at home, and also Hannah's on the short week. But Andy Lopez, I think he's one of those guys that kind of flying under the radar right now, doesn't get probably the recognition he deserves. But I like South, but Andy Lopez gives Hannah a chance.
All right, what are your thoughts, Joe?
Hannah plays hard, but they're going to find someone that plays just as hard with a little more talent. Harlingen South's going to win this, and they've got the Rivera script down pat. If Harlingen South wants to do what Rivera did last year, it's there for the taking.
Well, I'm going with Brownsville Hannah there. I just like what Hannah does, especially once again their defense is pretty darn good. They let up a big play here and there, but when they clamp down, they're pretty strong, and Andy Lopez can get it done on the ground and through the air. So I am going with Hannah there, and we are going to a break, but we will be right back with more on Sunday Sports Extra. We're going to talk about back-to-back. Top back in the Valley, top back in McAllen. We'll talk about that game that's coming up this Friday. And the kick heard round the Mid-Valley. It was a big one. Mercedes, Downs Ed Calchelsa. We'll talk about it next.